How you doing? I'll answer the great couple of questions I'm going to in a moment. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about first. First of all, I've been watching a lot of Line of Duty lately, the UK smash hit series, police series. And as a result of that, I'm inspired to throw you a couple of cryptic clues as to an announcement I'll have coming out pretty soon, which is exciting. Well, exciting for me and rugbyleaguecoach.com.au. Anyway, the clues are as follows. This is the second time I've worn something with Bulls on. So you may remember on the last YouTube video I had a Glenn Mills Bulls polo shirt on. Well, now it's a bit colder. I've got the hoodie on. And Glenn Mills Bulls is in America. So what's the clue? There's something in there, okay? And it relates to an announcement they've got. Is it Bulls? Is it America? Is it something else? You'll have to see, and hopefully it doesn't take you 6 seasons of a series to work it out and 13 million viewers. There is a drama though in rugbyleaguecoach.com.au HQ today. I have spilt some of my sandwich on the jumper. I don't know if you can see it there. Nah. Okay, I've got away with it. Now, 2 great questions. First one was about defending an overlap when there's a line shot, effectively, and a fullback comes into the line to create an overlap, an overload of defenders. The second question was relating to only having one halfback in a team. Now, what I'll do is I'll just answer. I've not scripted it or anything. If this video goes over about 8-9 minutes, I'll do the second answer on another video and then you'll know. Okay, so let's attack the first one, the defending an overload. So just picture the scene if you can for a minute. You're defending on an edge. You've seen it loads in the NRL, the Super League, or whatever level game you watch or play in. And the opposition have an apparent attacking overlap. That's often because they flood that area with as many players as they can, and it probably includes the fullback coming in around the back or something like that. Well, traditionally, there's a couple of ways you can defend. First of all, one very common method that I see a lot at every level of the game is to employ a shooter. And what that shooter does in the defensive line is, and this is better in spread defences, I would say, so sort of up and in defences, a shooter comes in and just disrupts somebody in the line. So they'll target someone. They might target the half, the 5'8", whatever it is, or the fullback themselves. But literally, they'll just shoot out the line. That is very common. It seems to be the most common, and you'll see that quite a lot. Another method is to literally get everyone to flood it on the edge. So just flood, just disrupt, just throw people in there. That's sort of like an acceptance that you've copped an overlap and you need to disrupt. So do or die kind of thing. However, there is another method, and you'll see this a lot less, but I think it's just as effective, if not more. That is to have an up and out defence. So up and in tends to be spread and comes in. Up and out tends to be a bit more compressed, move up and come out. Okay? By doing that, you're automatically forcing the opposition at most levels of the game, not all levels of the game, but at most levels of the game, you're forcing them to the sideline. The sideline is somebody or something that doesn't miss tackles, unless you're in France in 1990, where they just ignore the fact that the French player's got in touch before he scores a try, that kind of thing. Or Hull. So if again, picture the scene, the defence is coming from up and out, so they're a bit more compressed. Everybody is defending to, let's say, to the right. So picture it in your head, defending to the right, and they're pushing people to their right shoulder. Obviously, there's an element of gamble here because you're leaving some space, but that space at most levels of the game will be where the opposition will want to attack. They'll see the space and go for it, and it's effectively a trap you're setting for them. I hope that makes sense. I may have to draw it on a board for you or something like that, and I've got a board there. I should have maybe done that, but I hope that makes sense to you. So Up and in, you'll see shooters or you'll see flood, and that flood could be organised so that they come in together. So all 4 defenders or something come in together. It could be just one shooter, 2 shooters, or whatever it may be. Or the other method that I tend to like is up and out, and the onus is then on the attacker to try and do something to break that up and out defence. Are there ways to do that? Yes, there are, because there's a yin and yang, there's a cause and effect to everything. There's no unbreakable defensive system, and there's no perfect defensive system. We've been about 5 minutes answering that. Please, if you need that drawing out or on a diagram or something, just reach out on socials and I will do that, and I'll do a follow-up video. The next one, and I think I'll get it in, is about the one halfback in your team. You know, you've got one halfback who looks like a natural halfback and the rest don't look like natural halfbacks. Well, I refer you again to an old video I did about 2 weeks ago, maybe. This rubbish that halfbacks don't exist anymore. It's a different game, right? We go back 10 metres rather than 5 yards or 5 metres. So go back to that video to see that explanation. Let's think about what a halfback does. A halfback catches and passes. A halfback should make good decisions, or a 5'8", whatever. Traditionally, the traditional old model for halves and 5'8" is that the half might do 75-80% passing and a bit of running, whereas the 5'8" might be the second receiver and be a dangerous runner of the football. Well, if you think about that dangerous runner of the football who plays 5'8", they tend to pass when their instincts take over, right? So they'll be, again, if you picture it, they'll go from the ball will go first receiver to second receiver. That second receiver will be the 5'8", who tends to be a bit more of a runner, and there's been plenty of running 5'8s in the history of the game. And they will pass when their instincts take over. They might not organise as much, and somebody like Milford's perfect for that. Like he tends to want to run, and when his instincts take over, he passes if somebody's in a better position than him. So how do you deal with that as a coach? Well, first of all, there's a few things you can do. My advice is to do one of 2 things. You might devise a game plan where all you need is that one half, right? The game is evolving now. There's a lot of fullbacks who need to have a passing and decision-making element to their game. So can you imagine being a halfback and then you didn't have a 5'8" in theory, and then you turn around and pass to James Tedesco? I mean, do you not think James Tedesco can make the right decision with the ball to give or go, or to put it into space, or whatever it may be? So that's one example there. In the past, I've had that fullback as an extra pivot, or another pivot, or we've just gone with one pivot. We've just said we've got talented players who can do damage and back them to make the right decision. The other thing you can do is have a game plan that doesn't require 2 passes a lot. Unless you're in sort of good ball and you see some space out wide. That's something you can do. Thirdly, but I think is the most crucial and the thing you need to do, I think as a coach and as coaches, everyone should be developing grip, pass, catch, carry and decision-making skills through 2v1s, 3v2s, 4v3s, small-sided games. People learn best. Players learn best when they don't realise they're learning. You've got to get into that instinct part of the brain. So let them play games and correct them when they miss space and make the wrong decision and get turnovers in your game or whatever it may be. Imagine you've got a team full of good decision makers. There might be a couple of props who can't pass water, but ultimately, if you develop a team of decision makers through your training and who play instinctive eyes-up football, and you've just got half who steers them around, well, surely somebody on the end of the ball can make a good decision for you, whether they've got 1 on the back, 13 on the back, 11, 12, whatever it may be. I've done all sorts in the past. I've split my field second rowers, and they've been the 2 the pivots, if you like, when the ball was on the other side of the field. So I'll give you one example. I've had second rowers that have split the field to be acting halfbacks or hookers. So when there's a play the ball on the left side second row becomes the hooker, and the right side second row is the edge runner. And I've done the same with halves. So think a little bit outside the square, but one of the reasons there's only one half back in your team is because the game has changed. There's 10 metres now. You can get half to give somebody the ball when you've got some go forward, and even if they identify as a ball runner, if you develop their decision-making skills, they'll probably put the ball in the right place anyway. I hope that has helped. If you need any more, don't hesitate to get in touch. admin@rugbyleaguecoach.com.au is the email address, but socials, Instagram @rugbyleaguecoach, Facebook @rugbyleaguecoach, Twitter @RLCoach on the net. And I'm now going to wash this hoodie. What's the clue? Bulls, America. Announcement coming soon. See ya.